Hi, it's me again. Now, I'm always saying I don't know how things work in television. I've never worked in television. I don't plan on working in television. So when I see something written by somebody who knows how it all works, I listen. And this is Richard Osman, who I'm not particularly bothered about. But he makes a good point here about some BBC stuff I thought we could take a look at together. Just to make a change, we'll talk about the BBC, eh? TV host and producer Richard Osman says the BBC is going to have to axe more shows after pausing production of Top Gear and Question of Sport. The presenter, who worked as a behind-the-scenes TV producer for a decade, says the BBC has run out of money. So he's been a presenter and a TV producer. He's worked behind the scenes for decades, it says. So the man knows what he's talking about, right? So when he says the BBC has run out of money, BBC may very well have run out of money, but run out of bloody money. How is that even possible? How is that even possible? £159 they demand from every household in the country currently adds up to about 3.7 billion. They get a fair bit from their commercial ventures via BBC studios and stuff like that. That is the GDP of a small to medium-sized country. There are many countries in the world that don't have a GDP anywhere near that. Build hospitals, infrastructure, roads, bridges. They manage to do all of that. But the BBC can't make a quiz show and a car show because they've run out of money. How is that even possible? How is that even possible? The BBC has an awful lot less money than it used to, and some stuff has to go. The BBC has pretty much run out of money. All those mid-level programmes are sort of done. It's too expensive to launch new things with the money they've got, so we're going to have the same shows for a very long time. Well, it's a similar problem to Hollywood. You're always hearing that they won't take a gamble on anything new. They've got to go with what they know because they're scared of burning money. So all the mid-level programmes are sort of done. It's too expensive to launch new things. So we've got to go with what we've got. So the shows that we've got now, they're just going to keep making and keep repeating, which he mentions here, actually. Where is it? Everything has to sing for its supper now. Everything now has to pay its way in 3 different ways. It has to pay its way in ratings. Well, the BBC aren't too bothered about that sort of thing. Tim Davie himself has said that he doesn't care about ratings in an interview last year. The boss of a media organisation saying in an interview he doesn't care about ratings. I don't work in telly. I don't know. Then it has to pay its way in repeatability. Well, yeah, the BBC love that. They love that, and they love making money from that. You know, we all remember when UK Gold and Dave were launched, and UK Gold only showed repeats of Only Fools and Horses, which were long since paid for by your TV licence fees, chock full of adverts. Dave was a running joke about how much old Top Gear they showed on Dave, and probably still do. I haven't watched it for years. Those shows were paid for long ago. Now they're still paying their way in repeatability with adverts on UK TV, which is owned, don't forget, by the BBC. And it has to pay its way in international sales. Yeah, BBC Studios are big on that. They love making shows that syndicate all around the world. The David Attenborough stuff's made them fortunes, but their biggest earner by far was Top Gear. Yeah, so when they're saying they're not making Top Gear anymore, that's a big thing. Top Gear was a huge IP for the BBC. It was syndicated around the world. I think there was only 2 or 3 countries in the world that didn't buy British Top Gear. And the name got licensed out to many other countries. The US had 2 different versions of Top Gear. Australia had one. There were many other countries that developed their own Top Gear, whilst paying licensing fees back for the rights to the name and the format to the BBC. Now they've lost, well, they're losing all of that. Think of the book sales and the magazine sales and everything that went around Top Gear. It was one of their biggest earners, and they're able to drop that by the wayside. So yeah, when he says they've run out of money and we're going to get shonky stuff, I believe what he says. But the problem is, how is that helping licence fee payers? You know, they're still demanding that you pay your 159 quid a year, which is going up this year, don't forget. And they want to give you less and less for it. It's dying. The BBC is dying a slow death, and someone needs to put it out of its misery and make them commercial to give them the incentive to try harder and do better. doesn't it? Now, I did have another one here, which quite amused me. Actually, I've got two more here, but this one quite amused me. You see, it's just quickly. Mariana Spring investigates extraordinary cases of online hate in new BBC Radio 4 podcast, Why Do You Hate Me? So this is the BBC's disinformation and social media correspondent, Mariana Spring. And in each episode, you'll see Mariana, one of the most BBC's trolled correspondents, investigate a different extraordinary case of online hate. Now, I checked my DMs and my emails, but I haven't heard anything. You'd think I'd be the first person that the disinformation and social media correspondent at the BBC would want to talk to. Surely everything I'm putting out, I hear it all the time in the comments, is what I'm putting out is disinformation about the BBC, and I'm stitching people up, telling them to not pay the licence fee or how to not pay it, and I'm going to get all these people into trouble. Yeah, you'd think I'd be the first person they'd call, but I checked my DMs and I checked my emails. I haven't heard anything from them. So, yeah. Good for them. I just thought it was funny. I read that and I thought, wow, I genuinely went and checked my DMs on Twitter and went through all my emails with a fine tooth comb. But no, nothing. And then one of you brilliant people sent me this. He sent me this, I think it was yesterday or a couple of days ago, I don't know. Look at this one, right? This is on BBC News. Post-Christmas debt. What should I pay first and what can I do? So the BBC News want to help you with the cost of living crisis. They want to help because there's a lot of people struggling at the minute, especially after Christmas and stuff like that. So this is proper down-to-earth advice on how you can handle your debt this year and give yourself a better year from the BBC, the world's most trusted news network, don't forget. Let's see what they've got to say. Identify your most urgent financial demands. There are who proofread this? They are what is known as priority debts and bills because there can be serious consequences if you do not pay them, such as losing your home or facing court proceedings. They should be paid first, which is sound advice. You've got to pay off your priority debts first. So let's see what the BBC think are priority household debts. Okay, right. They include rent. Fair enough. And mortgage payments, yeah, that's fair enough. And homes and loans secured on the home. Yeah, okay. Gas, electric bills, child support and maintenance payments, council tax, income tax, VAT and other taxes. Yeah, they are proper priority debt. Are there any more priority debts, BBC News? Let's have a look. TV licence payments. It's funny how the BBC would consider the TV licence fee as a priority payment. You know, I've called out loads of the debt charities before because I've worked with Step Change a couple of times in the past where I've got myself into trouble. And I went through all of them. It's on the channel somewhere. I do it every now and then to see if they're advising people that if they're really struggling with their monthly bills that they don't need to pay the licence fee. And over the course of a couple of years of doing this, we've got them to change it. And they are now saying you don't necessarily need to pay this if you don't want to watch live TV and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, they're giving out that advice. But the BBC think your TV licence are a priority payment. If you actually wanted to help people with debt, BBC, you could put in there, you could save 13 quid a month for a while if you want to by not paying the licence, as long as you don't watch recordings being broadcast by BBC iPlayer. And then maybe you can, once you're settled down, you can buy a TV licence again and enjoy some great broadcast content from the BBC networks. But no, that's how much the BBC care about you. They're putting TV licence payments in the priority debt bit. What do you think about this then? I think Richard Osman's bang on, and he knows more about the inner workings of TV than I will ever know. He's pitched shows, he's worked for shows, he's had to deal with budgets and stuff as a producer. The man will know what he's talking about. And when he says the BBC's run out of money, things are too expensive to launch, and things have to pay for themselves in 3 different ways and then list them, I listen to that. Let me know your thoughts on all this. Mariana Spring, why do you hate me? It's a shame. Maybe they'll contact me for season 2 of that. Let me know your thoughts on all this down in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. Way down there, leaving your comment, hit all the buttons and everything as well. Because if you do that, hopefully I'll get to see you in another video again soon, won't I? Ta-da.